Did you forget who I am?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, thanks to the wicked team over at Yolopark, we're going to be checking out their Transformers AMK Pro Series, Transformers The Last Knight, Optimus Prime. Now, if you'd like this or any of their previous characters, then make sure to check out those links down below. And with that all said and done, now let's transform and roll out! And bang! Here we have Optimus Prime now fully assembled into his robot mode. And when it comes to an affordable action figure based on that Transformers 5 design, then right now I don't think it gets any better than this AMK Pro release. As we directly compare Prime against the actual CG render, seeing as this guy does not transform, he appears to be spot on. And if you are like myself and you don't mind your Transformers not transforming, then this may even just be the ultimate Transformers 5 Optimus Prime. The details are on point and the paint apps are immaculate. So as we check out the details, the head sculpt appears to be super close to what we do see in the movie. I also really like the various scratches and scuffs that can be seen throughout the entire robot mode to really sell the idea of battle damage. That chest plate is also looking sick. Check out the inbuilt circuitry packed beneath the armor plating, and what's amazing about this guy is that packed beneath is an entire internal endoskeleton which is near as detailed as some of the external outer armor. But the back is the money shot. Due to how clean the transformation was in the film, most transforming figures are usually left with a massive backpack, but in the case of this guy, he is tight D. The smokestacks and the inbuilt gas cans are looking wicked, and I've always argued that the back of this design looks even better in comparison to the front. It's also got to be mentioned that the build quality for something which is officially marketed as a model kit is solid. The plastic definitely feels a lot tougher in comparison to the rather flimsy material that we did see from their Rise of the Beasts Ape Link. So it is just a banging Optimus Prime, and has no doubt now become the new standard going forward for this AMK Pro line. Now, checking out Prime's accessories, another big difference in comparison to the regular AMK products would be the amount of weapons this guy includes. So up first, we do see the return of the legendary Sword of Judgment, which in addition to being painted front side to back, even packs the Cybertronian hieroglyphs, which I thought was a brilliant attention to detail. Next up, to pair alongside that, is also the Sentinel Shield, which has been equally as painted and as detailed as the sword, although unfortunately, unlike what we do see in the movie, this doesn't splay open into its battle mode, although taking into account the price, perhaps I am asking for too much. And seeing as this Optimus Prime is specifically based on his look from Transformers 5, he also includes an inbuilt forearm blade, which we do see him very briefly deploy in order to destroy Bumblebee before he protects himself by using plot armor.
I am Bumblebee, your oldest friend.
Then in addition to the articulated hands, Prime also includes quite a few pre-posed. So up first we have a pair of relaxed hands, a gripping pair, then easily the most iconic, a pair of command hands for Optimus Prime to deploy if he wishes to command the Autobots to transform and roll out. But that's not all, because Prime also includes quite a few interchangeable components. The first being this, which is designed to pair alongside both the Sentinel Shield and the inbuilt forearm blade. Then in addition to the iconic mouth plate, Prime also includes the Michael Bay inspired mouthpiece, which has always been my preferred look for this design, although it's gotta be said, despite being a really solid sculpt, it looks like Prime has gone overkill when it comes down to wiping out those Oreo bots. And again, seeing as this Prime is based on Transformers 5, he also includes quite a few interchangeable face components to of course transform Optimus Prime into Nemesis Prime, complete with the mark of Quintessa. This definitely does look to be super close to what we do see in the film. It's just a shame that the character was a massive letdown.
I will fight anyone who stands in my way.
But that's not all, as this guy includes even more accessories. The first being this attachment that can be used in order to store the sword on the back. This attachment so that you can combine both the sword and the shield. This one to attach the shield onto the back. And then this one to attach the shield onto the forearm. There is also a full-blown magnetic Autobot insignia, which does have a pretty big role to play. A full-blown display base, which looks to be so nicely detailed, especially in comparison to the ones included with their G1 characters. Then finally, a severed tentacle to Dr. Octopus. Just kidding, this is a fully articulated flight stand, which again is so much better in comparison to their previous releases. Now, to match the previous AMK Pro products, Optimus Prime has internal LEDs fully integrated into that head sculpt, which yet again I thought was a pretty big improvement in comparison to the previous AMK products. So to activate these, you will simply whack out the magnetic Autobot insignia, and bang! Optimus Prime is near instantly brought to life, and those blue LEDs are looking sick. The second mode is where the eyes begin glitching, so perhaps Optimus Prime has been damaged in battle, and then the third and final mode is where the eyes slowly begin to pulsate on and off, perhaps to recreate what we do see towards the beginning of Transformers 5, where Optimus Prime is floating through space in hibernation, seconds before he does crash land into Cybertron to face off against Quintessa.
I am Quintessa, the prime of life.
Checking out Prime's engineering, seeing as this guy's easily one of the most complex designs they've ever approached, I was actually really interested to see how he would stack up from an articulation standpoint against the likes of the Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime. So to begin with, the head is on a ball joint, this will look up, it will look down, tilt side to side and can be spun left to right. The shoulder pad can then be rotated, which allows for the shoulders to kick both forwards and backwards. If you take the shoulder pad, hinge this here down, it does allow for a pretty decent kick there out to the side, and despite the complex design of the chest piece, there is even an inbuilt butterfly joint which I thought was sick. The bicep can be spun, the elbows can bend way past 90 on these supreme double joints, and the elbow armor can even be positioned to make this look like one complete sculpt. The wrists are ball jointed, and surprisingly the fingers are articulated at two distinctive points, and the thumb is completely independent. So for those of you that are perhaps not the biggest fan of pre-posed hands, then Yolopark definitely have you covered. The upper torso can crunch forwards, it can crunch backwards and both side to side. The waist and the torso can be spun left to right, and this guy's also packing the drop down joints which we have seen on their previous releases. So in addition to kicking forwards to that far, they can also kick backwards to that far and even there out to the side, so that you will be able to recreate where Optimus Prime does send Megatron flying out of the side of Quintessa's ship, but the knee joint is incredibly seamless. So this is articulated at two distinctive points and really allows you to get this guy into some incredibly dynamic poses. The foot can kick both forwards and backwards, it can also rock side to side in both directions, and then finally even the front part of the foot can pivot upwards. But to see the true power of this Prime, let's now put him through the pose test. Now, checking out some comparisons, on the right hand side we have their Rise of the Beasts Optimus Prime, which is a part of their regular AMK lineup and does retail for roughly $30 in comparison to this AMK Pro release, which retails for roughly $56. To be entirely honest guys, I think they are most definitely putting that price point to use, as this guy visually looks incredible. Not only is the paintwork absolutely on point, but he includes a shed ton of accessories, internal inbuilt LEDs, as well as a fair amount of diecast scattered across the entire robot design. So I think it's safe to say that despite the increase in price between the two lines, Yolopark are still absolutely smashing it when it comes down to affordable non-transforming Transformers. And to fly through a few additional comparisons, we are starting off with the big bad leader of the Terracon, Scourge, which up until this point has been one of my favourite live action movie releases from Yolopark, but it's gotta be said that this Optimus Prime now absolutely reigns supreme. He looks killer. And for some studio series comparisons, we have the Bumblebee movie Megatron, Age of Extinction Galvatron, which is yet another incredibly difficult design to translate into a transforming figure, so I'm really hoping as maybe a companion piece to this Optimus Prime, Yolopark could potentially approach this design next. The Transformers 5 Voyager class Optimus Prime, which so far I think is Hasbro's best attempt at this design yet. I know we are set to see a Studio Series Leader class version of this guy, but judging by the lone CG render that has so far been shown sold off, unfortunately that too isn't looking too promising. So for those of you that are looking for an affordable version of this design that looks bang on to the movie, yet again Yolopark have definitely got your back. And if you're not too much of a scale nut, to be entirely honest, I don't think he stacks up too badly, stacks up against some of the Studio Series Autobots. So here we have the Transformers 5 Crosshairs, Hot Rod Autobot Drift, then finally 3-Zero's DLX Optimus Prime. And it's gotta be said, for the price point of around $55, Yolopark are definitely causing for some tough competition, and to be fair guys, when it comes down to the gunmetal grey used on the chest, may even be superior in comparison to the 3-Zero version. So, wrapping up on this review for Yolopark's Transformers The Last Knight Optimus Prime. This is yet another fantastic entry into their AMK Pro line. Yolopark are once again proving just exactly what a non-transforming Transformer should be after years of those incredibly mid-Transformers red figures. This guy looks incredible, the attention to detail is a near one-to-one match in comparison to that incredibly complex CG render. The articulation hasn't in any way been compromised. If anything, he may just be one of the most articulated entries to date, and in terms of accessories, he is absolutely stacked. The build quality is also solid, and this guy even has diecast fully integrated into his design, making him incredibly well balanced. I think this is without any doubt Yolopark's best AMK Pro entry to date, and it is most definitely going to take some topping in the future. I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this Transformers 5 Optimus Prime down in the comment section below. For those of you who do plan in picking this guy up, then be sure to check out the link in the description below. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, transform and roll out!